Here's a mind-blowing statistic. The average millennial will receive 24 wedding invitations before they turn 35. But what happens when you need to say no to some of those celebrations?
That's such an interesting number. And honestly, it feels even higher sometimes. The pressure to attend them all can be overwhelming.
Well, I've been diving into some fascinating research about wedding invitation etiquette, and what the experts are saying might surprise you. According to etiquette specialist Micah Meyer, there's absolutely no obligation to attend any wedding, even for close family members.
That feels almost revolutionary in today's social media age where everything is so public. How do people handle declining without damaging relationships?
That's where it gets interesting. The approach actually depends entirely on your relationship with the couple. For distant connections, a simple RSVP card works fine. But here's the key insight. For close friends or family, you should make a personal phone call before sending your formal decline.
So, what about destination weddings? Those must require a different approach given the huge commitment involved.
Oh, you know what's fascinating about destination weddings? The average guest spends around $2,200 to attend when you factor in travel, accommodations, and gifts. That's why wedding planners actually recommend being even more prompt with your response for these events.
Well, that certainly puts things in perspective. That's like 2 months of rent in some cities.
Exactly right. And here's something that really surprised me. The experts say it's better to decline immediately if you know you can't make it, rather than waiting and hoping things might change. It actually helps the couple with their planning.
You know, I've definitely been guilty of holding on to invitations too long, thinking it seemed more considerate somehow.
The data shows you're not alone. Wedding planners report that about 15% of guests wait until after the RSVP deadline to respond, which creates significant challenges for the couple's planning process.
That makes me think about the emotional aspect of all this. How do people handle declining when it's someone really close to them?
Well, the experts suggest what they call the sandwich method. Start with gratitude, express your regrets, then end with support and celebration. Something like, "I'm so honored to be invited to your special day, though I sadly can't attend. I'd love to celebrate with you before the wedding with a special dinner."
That's such a thoughtful approach. It keeps the focus on the relationship rather than the absence.
And here's something really interesting about gifts. Contrary to what many people think, etiquette experts say sending a gift is appropriate even when declining. It's not mandatory, but it's a wonderful way to show support from afar.
That's good to know. I've always wondered about proper gift protocol when not attending.
The experts actually suggest that if you're declining but want to send a gift, timing it to arrive before the wedding can make it even more meaningful. It's like sending your love and support along with them.
These guidelines are really changing how I think about the whole process. It's not just about attending or not attending.
Exactly. And here's what I find most fascinating. Wedding planners report that couples are generally much more understanding about declined invitations than guests expect. What matters most is how the decline is handled.
That's actually really reassuring to hear. Takes some of the pressure off.
You know what else is interesting? The trend towards smaller, more intimate weddings has actually made it easier to decline invitations. Couples are becoming more understanding of guests' limitations, whether they're financial, logistical, or emotional.
That seems like a healthy shift in wedding culture overall.
And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway from all this. It's not about the one day. It's about maintaining relationships in a thoughtful, considerate way. Whether you're there in person or celebrating from afar, it's the long-term connection that matters most.